And we're gonna start with I'm gonna take your word here, okay? I'm gonna take your word, your phrase. I'm not gonna appropriate it, but I'm gonna use it here. We gotta start with the baby goat. Okay. We gotta start with
It
the baby
is.
goat and talk about this final trailer for The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Because Tyler, I I said it before on the podcast, after specifically after the last 10-minute showcase. So I was like, man, this game is like I've really turned around on the game so much in terms of my hype level. And going into this trailer, I was like, okay, this trailer, I'm expecting it to be something special. I'm expecting it to be something great. And watching it, by the time it got to the end, I was like, my mind was blown in so many different ways. And I was genuinely like, I am insanely more hyped for this game than I ever would have thought I was going to be. And this game will potentially be my game of the year. And it's funny because this week I was listening back to our getting hyped for 2023 episode, right? And it was a part where we were like, oh, what do you think is your dark horse game for the year going to be, right? And I think I said mine would be Tears of the Kingdom because I was like, I liked Breath of the Wild, but wasn't dude like the giant fan of it that most people were. So I was like, if that ends up being my goat, like that's dark horse right there. And as I listened to that, though I saw the trailer, I was like, oh man, that might actually end up happening. Who knows? Talk to
Yeah.
me.
Um, it's like I don't want to get too excited because that's how you get disappointed. God damn, like that's um like it's just showed off everything you would have wanted. Any questions, well not any, but like most reasonable questions. And I think most people's concerns that they voiced about after the last like we said, that 10-minute gameplay, whatever demonstration, which felt so whimsical and free and funny. It was like, is all of this kind of like going against what some people wanted, which was like, hey, can we tighten up the story? Can we make it feel more grounded
Mm.
and like have the gravitas? And one of my favorite things in games, and like all of media, is when something can really and balance really well, like something very serious and also very fun, and like you've got the polar ends of things, but it works well because the execution is just phenomenal. And it seems like we might get that. We might get the dumb YouTube moments where it's like, oh, this crazy shit happened because it gives us all these sandbox and all these fun moments, while also like bringing back a lot of the more serious story elements from Zelda that so many people love, giving all these lore whores just like a ton of dumps and like this is everything. And like I watched it and it all seemed awesome, but also I was like, I don't know what half of this is, you know what I mean? And it's like it seems like it's just giving everyone what they want. For like at this point, if you don't like the game, the only real things I can see are people. It's
Weapon
the dungeons
degradation.
thing again.
Oh,
Um,
dungeons. Yeah.
yeah, but like it seems like they're trying to create workarounds for that, but I don't think they can truly. Like I saw some theory that was saying like maybe because the order of importance, it's hard to like make that happen with the way that they structured Breath of the Wild. So like maybe their workaround for it is like having partners, because like it seems like there is a point
Mm-hmm.
where you're in a dungeon with like one of the champions from Breath of the Wild. That could just be speculation. But if they manage to do even that to like make a way to where it's again the whole, we're not going to get rid of degradation, but we're instead going to like find a workaround that's kind of like a half meet up with the people complaining about it.
Yeah.
Like Nintendo, like this development team is insane, man. And I never truly doubted, but it was like, and I think I even said in that same episode you were referencing, like, I think they're just holding it close to their chest and they're just gonna like mic drop towards the end, or they might not ever show us anything. Because that's the most Nintendo baller move, is be like, we don't have to show you shit, and you're going to play this game.
Exactly.
But instead they're just like letting their nuts hang for like the last like a month before their game. They're just like, oh yeah, well, we're casually gonna drop maybe one of the best games of all time. Just get ready for it. And it's like, oh my God, they're
Right.
not kidding. But at the same time, I don't ever like to say something is for sure my goatee, because who knows what else will come along. But yeah, consider me hyped as I possibly can, while also trying to rein it in, because like that's
Yeah.
how disappointment happens.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
I love a good metaphor. It's like a sports team. You won the championship last time, and then but you didn't really do much. You didn't have any new players. They're just like, we're gonna rely on our draft picks, and you're like, I don't know, that's gonna go. And then this is like one game in or whatever. It's a preseason game, and like your draft picks all look like fucking superstars, and you're like, oh, we're never gonna lose a game again. You're just like, let's go. But of course,
You-
you will lose games. There will probably be some nitpicks and criticisms.
of course.
Some people, it'll be, oh, it's disappointing. But like
Yeah.
personally, I do think so. Like, I don't think I'll have a lot of complaints.
Yeah. And one of the things, some of my takeaways from this trailer that we got, and you kind of spoke to some of them. One of them was the story. Because I mean, the trailers we got for Breath of the Wild, there was definitely story stuff in them too. But then you play the game and you find out, oh no, that's really like all flashbacks, like short 5 minute cutscene flashbacks type things. It's not like really integrated into the main story. So part of the wonder here with Breath of the Tears of the Kingdom has been, okay, this is like present day now. We don't have the flashback. We don't have the amnesia to use as a crutch to like fill in the gaps for the backstory and all like that. How are we going to be telling the main story? What's the main story going to be like here? How important or prevalent will it be in this game? Will it be, how much better will it be? And watching this trailer, again, these could all just be like, random fling cutscenes or whatever. But it seems like the story has been a whole lot more importance has been placed on the story in this game and has been beefed up. So like it's way more epic in scale and scope and just thematically, I guess, as well. Like you said, we see Link working with one of the champions, Sidon, from the Zora clan. We see him like in one of the Sky Islands, presumably. But then we also see cutscenes of Sidon and the Gerudo champion that you meet in Breath of the Wild. We see them going off to battle together and stuff. And we see Ganondorf is here. He's back for real, for real.
Looking like a like a swole, the internet's gonna turn him to an internet daddy,
They
because that
already
man
did.
looks
They
cut.
they already did. Like 5 minutes after that trailer released, they were like, "Oh my
They,
god, he's so hydrated. He's back."
yeah, that was a Barrett Courtney. It was just like he's so hydrated. To his credit, though, like yeah, Ganondorf is always portrayed either really crusty or like how it's like fake non-hydrated muscle
Yeah,
in like movies and stuff. Instead, here he's like jacked, but not like unhealthy image. He's just
yeah.
there's no like ridiculous veins popping. He's just thick, man. He's just built like a tank.
But then there's that, and then also kind of with the dungeon side of things as well. Like we haven't seen anything that is clearly a dungeon, but we've seen things that could possibly be a dungeon. So like the part where we see this structure rising out of the desert. It's like, is that a dungeon? Maybe it is. We saw that round orb in the sky. Like, okay, is that like a dungeon in the Sky Islands? Is that a airborne shrine? What is it? We also saw like Link gliding through some type of structure as well. We saw him underground and like some lava cavern type thing. Is that just like a area underground? Is that a dungeon underground? Like we're seeing things that could potentially be dungeons, but we don't know if they're dungeons. But even still, just the possibility that they are. I mean, I personally, I didn't mind the shrines, but I also liked the dungeons in the past Zelda games. So, and I mean, in Breath of the Wild, the divine beasts were supposed to be your quote unquote dungeons. In my opinion, they weren't really all that great as dungeon replacements. Again, they were fine, but they don't replace that feeling of an actual proper dungeon that you're exploring and finding things and getting to the end of. So I wouldn't be opposed. I'd be happy, to have something that's more akin to a proper dungeon of some sort. So if that's in here, then that's fantastic. And we also, we still get even more glimpses of other new gameplay things, like what zero gravity in the Sky Islands, the giant water bubbles we can go into. Like what is even happening here? It's just so much cool stuff going on. It's hype. I'm hyped for this game now, unreasonably hyped.
It's also I get what I like. I win no matter what here because if the game is great, I also now get to be like having Breath of the Wild be your favorite game ever. It's like hard to be a hipster about it. And like at my core, me and my sister have had this talk before. We're just like at our core, we just are hipsters. Like we just don't we like the things we love to like not be cool. who we are, and it's like hard with Breath of the Wild because of how wildly successful of a game it is, and all the haters come out of the corner. So my dream scenario here is this surpasses it for most people, but now I'm sitting here over. I get to be on hipster rock because like there's no way it'll replace Breath of the Wild as my favorite game ever because there's I think the first time is just so hard to replicate. Talked
Yeah.
about this a little bit, but if it's just improved everything, and everyone is happy about it, then maybe they'll now move on a little bit, and I'll just get to be in my corner with Breath of the Wild still as my favorite game ever. And this is more of a hipster take. Like I would love for Wind Waker to be my favorite game ever because it's
Oh man,
just
I want to play
it's the
Wind
one that
Waker.
people hate on more traditionally, and it's like and so it's like easier to be hipster about it. But it's hard with Breath of the Wild because of how universally beloved it is because it is the GOAT. But now hopefully people will be like, oh, okay, this is the new GOAT or whatever. And I
Yeah.
can just stay in my little corner with Breath of the Wild.
Final question I'll ask you about this, and it's a question that's been asked before, but just want to know what you think. Does this trailer move you anywhere on the needle of Zelda being playable in any capacity?
I didn't take it that way, but I mean, I'd be down for it.
So, do you think that it's more like you don't take it anywhere as like it's more likely or less likely after this?
Yeah, like I didn't get those vibes, but also watched it once. I haven't like rewatched it a bunch of times because I was almost
Okay.
like I watched it and I was like, did I watch? Have I seen now? You know, it
Yeah.
definitely had those vibes of like, oh, you could have shown me half this and I would have been excited, Nintendo. Now I just feel dirty. I feel like I've seen half the game now. Even though I know I haven't, like I
Mhm.
imagine that's just like a peek into it, which is why everyone's so excited. But yeah, I don't know, but I also don't know, like you said, a shit ton about Zelda lore, so it's possible like what they showed was implying X, Y, Z. I've tried to like refrain from watching any YouTube. This is what it's all about. It's like, no, don't want to know.
No, yeah, I mean, I can go either way on it. To be quite honest, like, I don't care if we do, but I think it's cool if we do, as long as it's you know fun to play as her in whatever sections it is that she's in. Um,
It
I can see it happening though. I can see it happening solely because of the theory crafting that's been going on about where is she or when is she and all this type of stuff that's happening is like maybe we are playing as her in certain sections, perhaps,
it
maybe.
it will change eventually. Like, there's no way they have this convention set up for all this time and they don't pull the rug out eventually. Is this the time? I don't know. But I do
Yeah,
believe at some point they'll just be like, what should we do for a Zelda game? They'll just be like, we should just play a Zelda.
yeah.
Like, yeah, now's the time we'll do it. I think that'll happen eventually. I don't know if this is the game or not.
Oh yeah, two more things. Not to ask you, but just little notes I wanted to mention. Well, number one, short sword shield fused to the sword. What? That's
Did it
dope.
do it in the trailer? Did I miss that?
Yeah, there's a part where Link he's fighting two of the Zonai machine things, and then go to attack him, and like he has a sword and he swings his sword, and like it kind of does like a parry type thing. It's because the sword had a shield fused to the sword. So when the Zonai thing
Damn,
attacks,
I already got
they
my
hit.
answer. Yeah, I already got my answer for that. I mean, I'm happy that you can do it, but I'm also like, damn, I kind of wanted to find out in the game.
Yeah, so there's that. But then other little note for myself as a I love trailers, okay? As a trailer nerd of sorts, I got off on this trailer to the little fact of the music and the editing of this trailer. Like in the pacing, like
It was very, very well made.
paced so well, music fantastic. But specifically from the moment when it starts, when you see Link, again, the shot of Link trying to catch Zelda as she's falling, like when the music kicks in there and it just becomes more epic, and all the shots that we're seeing to go along with it, it's just making everything work so well. It's like the way that the music kind of syncs up with the shots that we're seeing, real subtle ways where like if you're a trailer nerd who just notices things like this, like me, you'll catch you like, oh, that was such a great editing choice, such a great editing choice. And then just the way that the music was in the final bit when it's like, okay, now we're like climax of the trailer. It's the Zelda theme all remixed and everything with the saxophone in the background and stuff. I was just like, perfect trailer. And that's actually part of why I've watched the trailer at least 20 times, solely because I want to just enjoy the music and just the edit of it all.